Hello everyone, it is me, Game Penguin 21, and today, well, the Summer Games Fest showcase happened. We're going to be talking about that today, but we're also going to be just talking about other stuff and giving small updates in general across this entire video about interesting topics that we've kind of covered this time, because quite honestly, I have a ton of salt that I just have not used or that I don't think have been talked about in this context. So we're going to start off by going back in time, talking about some older conflicts, giving you a small little update on some of those, and then moving on to specifically the Summer Games Fest and some of the salt that's been generated from that. So that's mostly in the back half of this video, so if you want to skip to it, I'll probably leave a timestamp or something there. If not, just watch the whole video, because quite honestly, it's fun. In any case, yeah, a call to action of 1K subscribers, please and thank you. It's not necessary to subscribe to this channel, obviously, but I'm looking to hit 1K subscribers by the end of this year. Also, I do music and other stuff, so expect the next album of For the Gamers to drop sometime probably within the next 2 weeks. And, yeah, if you want to support me in any other way, shape, or form, links down in the description. With that being said, let's get started. Of course, we're going to start off with, interestingly enough, Hypercharge. Now, Hypercharge in and of itself released on Xbox, and I talked about this a little bit at length in the actual video. That is, where I think that they kind of mishandled the situation just a wee bit. But overall, talking about Hypercharge here, there is a screenshot of Hypercharge where they have they said that he's really emotional right now, and they've sold over 25,000 copies of Hypercharge on Xbox within the last 24 hours. And I believe that this was on the launch day of it, so it seems to be like the 1st of June. So that's good for them. Good for them right about now. Again, this is a little bit of an old one, but some dude named James took a screenshot and basically said, "Lol, 25K copies sold on at Xbox. And this is how the dev acts. Somebody help these fools at Hypercharge Game." And he literally tagged them, by the way. Also, your game sucks and has been on PC failing, frowny face. To which the Hypercharge devs actually do respond to this, and I think that this is handled quite well, where they say, hi James, what a great way to support indie developers. We've come a long way to get where we are, and we're following our dream. Genuinely, I hope one day you get to experience what that feels like too. And I think that that was actually a good way to handle it. From the original situation of them talking about, like, talking down to their audience and stuff, this is clearly meant as, like, one of those subtle jabs and trolling stuff. And while I normally say don't talk down to your audience, I never said don't, like, critique or make fun of your audience, at least in a kind of jokey manner like this. Now, of course, to say that that's, like, the best thing to do, to bring yourself down to that level, maybe don't do that often, because I know that Lawbreakers did that, and from that, they kind of killed their game. But overall, again, Hypercharge is doing well on Xbox. Good for them. Again, this is a small indie game, so they didn't expect it to do massively, but congratulations on them. If you want to go and buy the game, it's available on Steam, PlayStation. No, not PlayStation. It's available on Steam, Xbox, and Switch, so go right ahead and play that game. Pretty good stuff, actually. Next up here, we have Persona talking about Dear Xbox Community, and talking about this was one that kind of got swept under the rug, where there was a port of Kenya, Bridge of Spirits, that was coming into there, and they're saying, support this game, from, the PlayStation perspective. Quite interesting, really. I mean, like, we got all these big games and stuff, and yet this was nowhere to be seen in any of the marketing material. Very weird. Very weird. To which the most interesting one is, nah, we're good. Get this child's game out of here. It's very funny because they're going to be specifically begging for the Lego Horizons game for Xbox. At least some of them are, quite interestingly. But we'll get into that when that happens. With more of a I'll pass and most random stuff ever. Really, again, nothing new here to kind of talk about. Next up, we have the Red Dragon retweeting an Icon Era thing about how this is a 400 pay. This is like that Final Fantasy VII Online is already flopping with it not appearing in the top 400 paid games list. Cool. I mean, there's thousands of games on Xbox. With a probably losing money by investing in Xbox at this point. I mean, look, dude, that's not how this works. The one big reason why Final Fantasy doesn't seem to be doing so well, or at least this Final Fantasy online game, is because of the fact that it's like an MMO, and it also requires you to pay like a subscription service. At least I believe it does. Maybe it doesn't, and I'm just being stupid about it. But again, if you want to correct me in the comments of like, is Final Fantasy 7, 6, you know what I mean? Is this Final Fantasy game actually like online game actually like has that subscription service? But So the PlayStation reveals at Summer Games Fest that people were talking about. This was some of the leaked images and things like that. Which, by the way, just so we're all aware here, none of these games actually appeared at there. There was no Horizon Zero Dawn sequel. There was no Horizon Zero Dawn remake, and there was no Spider-Man Carnage or anything else of PlayStation to be there. Plus, also, why would they put it at Summer Games Fest when they had their showcase, which, of course, they didn't have either. There was more things here. There was, like, another thing stated that the Lego game or something like that. This kind of got cut off because I was doing a different thing, and I should have gotten more. So I'm a little bit upset there, so I'm sorry. But this was an interesting small bit of salt here, where Sony has quietly updated its PS5 packaging to remove the mention of 8K. You wonder why. And, of course, then there is Nicola coming here with, why the fuck is this a big deal? Gee, why is false advertising to your consumer base for years and only just now getting rid of the marketing and only doing it in a subtle manner a big deal? Wonder why. But obviously, there were also some people that were talking about, hey, Concord is perfect for $40, which is funny because it's most of the things that it's trying to compete with are like free to play. And again, I'm going through these quickly because I want to get through the Summer Games Fest stuff. Now, of course, there were a lot of people that seemed to have this saying, oh, $40 is perfect for this game. And yet, most of the other competitors at this point have evolved the market to be more of a free to play model. So, it's quite interesting why Concord, again, got the actual green light, but all the other multiplayer games as a service games were taken off. The ones that actually had market pull and were brand recognizable. Quite interesting, really. Quite interesting. Same thing with people are actually buying the Digital Deluxe Edition at the $60 price point. Congratulations. You kind of wasted some money. Neat. Now, there was another small bit of news here in the sense that Microsoft is apparently in the early stages of developing a Halo Combat Evolved remaster that might be launching on the PS5, with Nicola here again, who is totally not a pony because someone else told me that, saying that he had a God's evil laugh gif because, he couldn't actually be bothered to type that one out. Cool. But that's interesting that they have that. And it wasn't just him that was talking about it. There were a couple other people that were talking about it, mainly in the one made by Culture something, which I think I lost that tweet. But it's quite interesting to see that happening. Now, of course, I do need to be at least a little bit lenient here and talk about how, Microsoft also had 8K gaming performance targets as well, because, got to be fair here. My critique is fair and knows no bounds, so that's neat. And that also kind of sucks because, again, 8K gaming on PlayStation hasn't happened, probably because, reasons. Next up, we have Only Good Games, who is basically saying that this is the wildest take that he's ever seen, with someone replying to, and he's talking specifically about Dante in this situation, saying that $60 for this when I can play Callisto Protocol for free on Game Pass. Which, I mean, that's not the worst take. It's a weird take, definitely, but it's not a super wild or out there take, because at least for Dante, $60 for Astrobot. Really? Really? Even though I think it's like $50. Which, even still, like, that seems a little steep for at least my personal opinion. Just saying. But, yeah. One of the things that I will also say, kind of to back end this conclusion bit, is that it got so much, that the one big thing that a lot of people were talking about, at least in terms of the showcase, to get into that, is that there was a lot of people that were tweeting out a thing for no Xbox. So much so that it was on trending somehow, which is really weird. But to go through some of these, Big Husky from Glitch Energy says, it's honestly hilarious seeing no Xbox is trending. You all do realize the Xbox showcase is Sunday, right? Ha 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 ha. Which is again true. And yeah, I do agree. To see no Xbox trending was a bit weird, but people were like, where's the Xbox games that are coming to Xbox and stuff? And it's like, they do, like, there was games that was there that were on Xbox. Like, again, a lot of people seem to keep glossing over my personal favorite game, The Finals, which did get a good trailer there, and I'm very excited for the next season, so whoop-de-doo. But of course, Tom Warren coming out here with Sony's first game in Summer Games Fest is LEGO Horizon Adventures, which is launching on PS5, Switch, and PC. No Xbox release, though, which is a little bit upsetting. Quite honestly, to those of you, and we're going to get into this more later with Horizon Adventures, but to those of you who say this was a LEGO decision, LEGO might have the rights to the LEGO games, but in this context, since it's actually PlayStation-developed studios and has the publisher of PlayStation attached to it, they're the people who decide where the game gets published to, because it's not only their IP, it's also their published video game. So, yeah, they bought and people don't seem to understand, like, the LEGO itself is the brand that they attached to it, and, again, people are like, oh, well, yeah, anyway, but we'll get into that when we get into that. There was also another one for this Wukong thing where it says no Xbox port for Black Myth Wukong, which this one's interesting because apparently they did have an Xbox release planned, but Sony might have actually greased the wheels for this. This is, again, just a very, very big rumor that I'm not sure would put any stock into. But, yeah. Next up here, we have a Falco X with the next Xbox handheld. Will be able to play your PlayStation PC games and your Xbox games and your PC games. So, no, Xbox is very alive. And this is assuming that the Xbox handheld is going to be a thing for whatever reason. Which, again, at this point seems to be inevitable, but I would still hold my breath, and I wouldn't hedge my bets on that being actually a thing yet, though I can be proven wrong. Next up we have the Red Dragon again, who is retweeting the LEGO Horizon Adventures revealed launches winter 2024 for PS5, PC, and Switch. No Xbox laughing crying emoji. Again, to kind of get into this a little bit more, yeah, that does make sense in terms of this because, it makes half sense because, PlayStation apparently just doesn't give a shit about Xbox and don't want to have Xbox have these things, which, look, PlayStation, Sony, my dudes, it's a LEGO game. Let them have it because it's really fun and, you would make a lot more money because it's really cool. Next up, following soon, no Xbox logo here, so I'm assuming they delayed the launch of this as well, if at all, with Itonia, the last song, which they had a demo available on these platforms, and again, there's no Xbox logo. This was a big thing, by the way, that people were talking about, where there was like, oh, there's no Xbox logo at all, blah, 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 blah. But next up we have Astro Cyborg with a gaming journalism, and this is what I kind of talked about before. This is specifically an IGN article. I was talking about, saying that it looks like Sony signed a deal for some sort of PlayStation exclusivity around Black Myth Wukong after Summer Games Fest. Teller ditched mention of the planned Xbox Series X and S versions, which is, again, quite weird and interesting. I know this green shot looks very shitty, but it looks to be like it looks to be like he's on his phone for this one specifically. Which, again, I am of the opinion that seems to be the case, though I would, again, not say it one way or the other. But allegedly, this seems to be correct. But, again, whatever. Next up here, we have That Generic Eric, which is a very interesting take here, with a seeing all the Xbots upset because they won't get to play this banger is pure joy. Literally released everywhere except the shitbox. Even Lego, a toy company, knows Xbox is garbage and won't even negotiate a port for that trash platform. You love to see it. Even though for this particular Lego game with PlayStation's IP, PlayStation would have the publishing rights. Despite the fact that Lego is a big company, they might have just licensed out the game to Sony to then have them have the publishing rights for that game because it is their intellectual property. Again, how does this go past everyone's head? How does that not make any sense to anyone, right? Because the Lego games themselves, they don't have one publisher. Like, I don't think Lego even develops them in-house. And they're a big brand, and they have a bunch of stuff. How does that make any sense? That Lego, a toy company, would not want this game on all the platforms when they've had most, if not all, of their other Lego IPs on all platforms, which include, I think, Lego Dimensions, which was everywhere, and you could play Aloy on the Xbox, if I remember correctly. Like, how do you compute that? It's very weird to me. Next up here, we have Jay. It says, if you want to play these amazing-looking titles day one on console, just buy a PS5. Or, get a PC, play both of these games, as well as all the other games that were mostly at Summer Games Fest this year, including a bunch of other games, Kind of seems weird why you would point out these two games specifically and point out console specifically. I don't know, dude. Just get a PC. But of course, there was also a little bit of Xbox salt to kind of, toss your way because, sometimes I just like to talk about it. Saying that Anna Anderson here with a hashtag PlayStation Next Gen First Party Games, talking about the Lego games and Astro's Playroom. Which, by the way, again, those two being like the highlights and the big games that people are like, oh, these games are really cool and really fun and actually really awesome, kind of goes to show you how the state of the gaming industry is at this point. And I think that's more of a general critique on the gaming industry in general, which sucks. So, you know what? Congratulations, PlayStation. You actually have a couple of games that are looking very cool right now. If you do require a PlayStation Network account for the Lego games, I am going to cry. Like, that is so upsetting. But in any case, I think that'll about do it for this episode of Random Salt Assortment Day. Overall, what have we learned, children? Well, to be clear, basically that Concord is still kind of ass and does not deserve your money, at least in my personal opinion, right? The predictions that people had for the previous Summer Games Fest and stuff were disgusting, and they basically did not come to fruition. Halo is coming out to PlayStation, possibly, with a remake coming in the future, which would be interesting to see. And Sony is still kind of trying to fight tooth and nail, slowly trying to fight against their other competition with a fierce blade in their teeth to, for whatever reason, because they're Sony and they're dicks about it. Whoop-de-doo. Anyway, again, I'm really tired and I'm kind of going through not anything bad, just I'm kind of at I'm at one of those like online convention type things, so don't worry too much about it. By the time that this video comes out, I'll be out of it, and I'll be recovering from that as well. I'm also looking to get a new job because I've gotten called back for interview stuff, so that would probably happen by the time this video comes out again. And, you know, maybe I'll put out an update at the community post to say, hey, I'm going to be uploading less because of this reason. In any case, I think that that'll about do it for today's video. My name is GamePenguin21. Again, thank you so much for watching. Don't be a fanboy, and a peace off.